Hi, welcome to Tyne Valley Motorhomes. I'm Callum and this is a handover of the Auto Trail Delaware. So starting off on the driver's side of the motorhome first, using the square tri-mark key, you'll be able to open this locker. And then all you need to do is help it up. You can use your foot. And in here you've got two leisure batteries. So you've got two 92 amp hour banger batteries with the main fuses for the batteries being this side. So if you've checked the fuses inside the van and they're not blown and you're still not getting 12 volt, check these two at the back, as these are the main battery fuses. And you've also got the point where you charge the vehicle, so the hook up point. So whether you're doing that on a site or whether you're charging it prior to your trip and maintaining the battery over the winter on the driveway, you'll want to hook it up here. So to hook the vehicle up, it's very easy. All you need to do is always hook the van up first, and to hook the van up you just get the hooker blade, hold the lid back and connect it to the point of the vehicle first. Once the vehicle's connected, you can then connect the power source, whether that be the outside socket on the driveway or the post on the campsite, and do it in reverse when unhooking so that you're never walking around with a live lead. To store, you can store the lead in here as well, so you've got storage. So if you have wet bits and pieces such as boots, ramps, cables, anything you don't want to drag into the van, put it in here. And you'll also see you've got this outlet here, which is your wastewater outlet. So anything that you've put down a plug hole goes into a separate holding tank, which is your waste tank. And on the way out of your site, you can drive as close to the disposal point as possible. You do have a warning on the control panel and a level indicator of how much water is in your waste tank. Open the valve and you'll be able to allow the water out. You always want to drain this water off before travelling, as it will eliminate that extra weight, meaning that you have a little bit more on your payload to put bits and pieces on board the vehicle, and it's not going to use as much diesel as it would carrying around, because your tank on this will be about 70 litres. That's an extra 70 kilograms of weight you're travelling with if it was full. Using the habitation key, which is this one here, you'll be able to get into all your lockers. So that's just storage behind your kitchen sink there. You've got your external cold water fed shower point. So inside the van you've got a hose, one end which is similar to a hose pipe will clip onto the vehicle once you've removed this cap, and on the other end of the hose you've got a trigger gun, which means you can hose off the dog, the boots, the bikes, the kids before getting into the van. This one here is your freshwater input point, so it's your filling point. Get yourself a hose pipe with some hose pipe fittings, as it's mainly just a brass tap provided by the site. Connect it to the site's tap, flat end of the hose between the grooves here, and it will fill until it overflows or until you look on the control panel and you think you've got enough water on board. You've also got another way of filling on this van, and it's using a wheel submersible pump. So you've got a socket for the pump there, so that gives it 12 volt. One bit goes into here, so the end of the hose will go into here. The pump will go into the water, so you would bring a bucket, an aquavol or a container of water to the van. Turning on tank fill in the settings of the control panel, you'll be able to get power to this socket to activate the pump and fill the water system. To drain off the fresh water system, you've got a blue tap behind the back of the wheel. It's very important that you drain off the water if you've taken on contaminated water, or especially in the winter when you winterize in the van. You want to eliminate all water in the van so nothing freezes when we're experiencing cold temperatures. So wastewater, like I've already shown you, fresh water, just open it up and get rid of the water out of here. And then you want to open your boiler and all your taps within the van to stop any airlocks in any pipe work and taps themselves. But we'll get onto that further in the video. But that is your freshwater drain point. This is your Aldi boiler flue. So at the moment you can hear that's on because we've got that on gas and electric to heat the inside of the vehicle and the water. Make sure it's always obstruction free, and make sure that You'll only hear this when it's on gas. When it's on electric, it's a little bit more silent, but it does just allow the fumes out when operating on gas. And it does stop when your door is open. So there's a sensor just on the inside the door, which means that when this is on, it'll stop when you open this door. So do just take that in mind. If that door's not shut properly, it won't work because there's a sensor on the door, which this is. That goes into here, and this is the sensor. To drain off your boiler, so your boiler system is fed from your freshwater tank, and it always holds 10 litres of water in the boiler. In the winter, when you're not using it or experiencing frost, it's very good practice, and you've got to drain it down. So get into a habit of knowing what this is and how to drain it down. So this is your drain down valve, your little yellow toggle there, and it's lying down. To drain the boiler off and leave it open when you're not using it in the winter, you flick it up and the water drains out directly underneath the van. You would do that without the pump on, because what is happening is the pump's trying to fill the water back up. So from outside, start with getting rid of your fresh water if you've got any left in. Your wastewater should be empty from your last site you went to, and leave the tap open when you drive at home, just so it rocks any loose water out. Come here, flick that up, jump inside the van, open all your taps, and then turn on your pump for 10 seconds to blast the water out of any lines, and then leave the vehicle. This is it fully drained down and protected against the frost. When you come to reuse it, close it so it's like this now, which is in the closed position as it's lying down, not standing up. Shut your fresh and your waste, shut all your taps within the van, fill the van with water using a hose pipe from your house. Once you've done that, you can turn the control panel on and the pump on and bleed the water through. So on the cold side, you'll get a pressurized flow pretty much straight away. On the hot side, it'll cough and splutter the water. Just let it do its thing for the first 3 to 5 minutes until you get a pressurized flow of water. And all it's doing is it's transferring the water from the freshwater tank underneath the van into the boiler behind here and pushing all the air out through the tap. And then that is your system. Pressurized for the season ahead. But please drain it down, because it isn't covered, frost damage isn't covered underneath the manufacturer's warranty. It's your responsibility as the owner to drain the vehicle down. In the garage, you've got tethering points, on and winding handle, carpets there. On the back of this van, this customer has had a tow bar fitted with 13-pin electrics, and on the top you've got your high level brake light and reversing camera. This side you've got the bigger garage door, slightly larger door. Mains 230 volt plug in there, so if you want to charge anything in the garage you can, but you've got to be hooked up to mains for that to work. And you do have a light, so to operate the light, you just push the end there for the strip light to come on. You've got an outside gas point, which this is. So if you're planning on doing a bit of cooking when the weather's nice, or if you're abroad, you've got an outside gas point. So it means you can connect your Kadak or external barbecue to the side of the van without carrying a spare bottle, and it uses the gas system on side the vehicle. So you've got a gas quick release point, which is cable tied to the gas point here. Cut that off. The ribbed edge is the edge that the hose goes onto, and then you'll need a Jubilee clip to secure, and the little end clips into here when you turn the valve on to allow the gas to come through from the bottle. Turn it off before disconnecting, and that will allow you to use your Kadak or external barbecue. Next we've got your toilet. So this is your cassette cartridge. This will indicate when it is full. To remove it, lift the orange handle and slide the cassette out of the van. You can then either carry it or you can wheel it to the disposal point. And your disposal points can normally be found by your toilet and shower block on your site. To empty, all you need to do is remove the grey cap, Pop that to one side for a moment. Pour the contents out, and as you're pouring, press the orange button here. It allows a bit of air in, gives it a consistent flow, and you'll be able to tip out the contents of the cassette. That is just water where we've tested your toilet on PDI. Once you've emptied it, put some water in. There's normally a tap there, so a bit of water in, give it a rinse, tip out again. 120 ml is the cap capacity. 1 cap of chemical, either blue or green, into here. You can do it by eye as well, just by pouring it into here. Once you've got it into the cassette, you can put the cassette back into the van and you can use it, and the chemical will break down everything in the cassette. Two fridge vents, an awning light above the habitation door, and your Thule Omnister awning on the roof there, which we can show you on collection, as it's a bit windy here today. So with the awnings as well, don't use it over wind speeds over 15 miles an hour, and if you leave the van unattended, please make sure your awnings are put in, whether that's going to bed or whether that's going out for the day. Put your awning in before you go to sleep or go out to ensure that it's not going to damage your vehicle. LPG, so this is liquid petroleum gas. This is your gas locker, and to open this locker you need to get into the cab, and behind the passenger seat you have a lever here. So this black lever, it's on the cable system. Pull it back and you'll be able to open your gas locker. Just give it a good push into the retainer on the side of the van. Your vehicle runs off propane, as propane has a much higher freezing point than butane. So you always want to make sure your bottle is a orangey red colour, and that is propane. Once you get the bottle on, it's always best that you put the strap around the centre of the bottle and tie it in. We're not doing that now because this is our test bottle and this is coming off, so the customer does have to supply your own gas bottles. To connect the pigtail, which is from the regulator here to the bottle, it's a left hand thread, so it's opposite threads with it being gas. So left to tighten, right to loosen. What you need to do is then get a gas spanner or an adjustable wrench and nip it up onto the top of the cylinder. Turn the cylinder on 1 or 2 turns. Little black button here where my finger is, that is a rupture protection valve. You push that in, so if anything happens to this pipe, that will cut off and stop the gas flowing out the bottle. And then this yellow one here always needs to be flush, which it is now. If that ever pops out, you need to press and hold it. 10-second reset, and that is a crash valve protection to stop the gas from going inside the motorhome. Strap the bottle in with the straps. You can carry a spare bottle as well in case one does become empty. You can disconnect the pigtail, connect it on the other, but please make sure your gas is isolated before you go on the road, which you would do from the top of the cylinder. Coming to the passenger door, you've got your diesel filler, which opens with the main Fiat key. And underneath, because it is a new diesel styled engine, it does take AdBlue. So the AdBlue capacity on a Fiat Ducato is 19 litres, and with 19 litres it will do a full 5,500 miles. Normally when you've got about 1,000 miles left, so once you've done 4,500 miles, you'll get a warning on the dash which says AdBlue level low, and you can buy it in the drums, but you can be paying up to 10 for 10 litres of AdBlue. You can be paying £30 where you've seen it at the petrol forecourt the other day filling the van. What I would personally do is put it on the pump of the AdBlue pump, which you can find at your bigger filling stations, and you'll be paying about £1.10 to £1.20 a litre for AdBlue. So as long as they've got wagon pumps, they'll have an AdBlue pump. Fill it up. It might be just a thing you do once a year with the AdBlue, but once it illuminates, try and find AdBlue as soon as possible, because if you allow this to run low of AdBlue or completely out of AdBlue, it will either go into restriction limp mode or it will not start, and you'll have to contact Fiat assistance. 5.5 bar, which is 79.5 psi for your tyre pressures. Engine battery lives underneath the floor on a Fiat Ducato, so it's not underneath the bonnet, it's underneath this floor compartment here. So if we lift that up, you can see that the battery is there, not underneath the bonnet. And your toolkit is underneath the passenger seat, which has a jack, a brace, a tone eye. This does just pull out, that clip does turn, and this whole toolkit comes out. Bonnet releases on the side of the dash. And underneath your bonnet, you do have the screen wash, which is the main one you're going to need, which is above the driver's headlight here. 3 nibs in this part of the scuttle will lift off and fill the coolant. Then you've got your brake fluid and your oil filler. Paint codes on this sticker here. Weight plate, so 4.5 ton. With that tow bar, you can, whatever your tone and the motorhome can't exceed 6 ton, and you've got a front and back axle weight. To give or receive a jump start on this van, because the battery is underneath the cab floor, you've got an earthen point here. You've got the air intake and filter. Just beside it, this cover normally sits over the top. If it's locked, you just need to put your key in there, and then you can lift it back, and you can put your positive on there for giving or receiving a jump start. So to operate your auto trail control panel, press on the screen here and it will bring on the panel. You've got your master switch here, which is your on-off, which gives 12 volt from your leisure battery. If you're hooked up, you'll get this little icon here, and it will tell you external and internal temperature on the top. You can then turn on your lights, which is this one here. This is your master switch for your lights, your interior lights, and then they all are individually switched around the van. You've got your awning light, which is this one here, which is on the outside of the van, and you've got your dimmer lights. You can use the dimmer here to dim the lights in the front lounge. This side you've got your pump, so you can turn your pump on should you have enough water on board, which you can see on the next one down, which is your water levels. So you can see there that we have 100% fresh water on board, 0 waste. Once the water levels become low, whether that's the fresh water low or the wastewater full, it will indicate and the control panel will flash to bring it to your attention that you are needing to either empty the waste or top the fresh water back up as you're running low. Next, at the bottom left hand corner, you've got your power levels, so you can see the level of your leisure and vehicle battery. As we're hooked up at the moment, the leisure battery is given a false reading. Take the hookup out and you'll get a true reflection of the leisure battery's reading. Active battery current, so there's currently 4.8 amps coming in from the hookup. Mains current coming in 4.4 amps. So the active battery is a mixture of between what's being used and what's coming in, and the solar will go to sleep once you're hooked up, as mains 230 volt is much higher than the solar panel could ever provide, and that is down to charging the leisure battery. Going into settings, you can view your active battery. You always want your active battery to be on the leisure battery. Don't put it on smart, because what smart does, it analyzes both batteries and it will flick over, and your active battery is the battery you want to use on the motorhome. You don't want to drain your vehicle battery out and not know it's on the vehicle, go to start up and not be able to start the van. However, on the solar battery select, you could put on smart, and if it's standing and the battery is lower than the other, it will flick over and give the charge to the battery that's the lowest. Tank fill, if you want to fill from a wheel pump, you need to turn this on to allow you to do that. And tank heaters, if it's going to be freezing overnight and you're away in the winter, to avoid the water from freezing in the tanks, both the fresh and the waste, you can turn this on. However, when the vehicle's not in use, drain it down. Power light settings, so you can set your dimmer levels, screen timeout settings, and your date and time for when the clocks go back and forth. You can change this so that it is all set up with the right date and right time on. Pressing home will bring you back to the control panel. To operate your Aldi control panel, You press here to turn the panel on and off. This is the menu that it will bring up to, so it will tell you that at the present it's 11.5 degrees inside, and you can see that the little circulation valves underneath, so it's heating up, circulating. It's on both gas and electric, and your hot water's on. So if you press into here, you can adjust the temperature. So you can adjust it to all the way to 30 degrees. So 30 degrees is what it's set at with the plus and the minus. I can change that. But at present it's 11.5. Press menu. The energy source, you can use 3 bands of power on electric. So you can use it on, if you didn't have electric, you'd just have to use gas, which is known as wild camping, but you can have it on 1 kilowatt, which is 750 watts, 2 kilowatts, which is 1500 watts, or 3 kilowatts, which is 3000 watts. And this all depends on the amperage the site gives you with hookup. So most sites now give you a 16 amp feed, but if you're on a 10 or even a 8 amp feed, you may have to not use 3, you may have to use 1 kilowatt, because sometimes even 2 kilowatts will struggle, but it all depends on the amperage the site gives you. When you're not hooked up, you have to use gas, and that's an on-off switch for the gas here. And it's dead easy. Make sure the bottle's on, you can turn the gas on. By all means, you can run the gas and electric together, and that'll just reduce the time it takes to heat either the water or the vehicle. So in the winter you may want to start this off for the first half hour and then turn the gas off and allow the electricity to continue to heat the van. Hot water off if you've got no water on board. Turn it on, which will heat the water and heat the vehicle together if you've got the heating turned on at the same time. Or if you want boost, you've got a 30-minute setting here where it prioritises all the heat to the water and it won't heat the motorhome. So if you want it to run together, just make sure it's on. In the settings here, you can set day and night mode, so you can set the day, so you might want it to run from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, being a steady 20 degrees inside the motorhome. So to do that, you just press day mode and you can set that up by turning it on and selecting the days, the time it starts, the time it ends, whether you want the hot water on, what temperature you want it to be. And then you can do exactly the same for the night mode. So it means you don't have to touch the panel, it'll automatically do it off time. So as long as the time's programmed on the panel, which it's dead easy to do, you'll be able to just leave it so that maybe you want it to be 20 degrees during the day, but maybe you don't want it to, you want it to be a steady 12 degrees at night, so that if it drops below that, the heating will kick in and just keep the van warm, and with the hot water on, ready for a shower in the morning. So you can program all that in day and night mode. And then if you've ever got to restart this because it comes up with an error, you just press reset and it will turn off the panel and restart it. You'll have to go and reset the temperature, the energy source and the hot water all again. So to operate your Fetfed fridge freezer, so you've got the freezer box at the top and the fridge at the bottom with the control panel in the center. So you'd press the on off button here and you'll be able to turn it on and off. This is your energy source selector, the first one, so you'll see that it says A, which stands for automatic energy selection, and there's a picture of a mains plug, which means we hooked up to main. So the fridge is currently working on 230 volt. And A stands for automatic energy selection. So what that will do is it will pick out the best source available to the motorhome at any one time. So if I went and disconnected the van now, because I've got a gas bottle on, it would automatically self-ignite onto gas. If I was to put the key in the ignition and start the vehicle, it would switch over to battery, which isn't off the leisure battery. It's a feed off the engine when the engine is running, and it's only designed to use this when travelling, but it's got to be pre-chilled beforehand. So if you've been on a site the night before with your shopping in, it will be down to temperature and you're moving on to the next site. Or if you're moving from home and you've had it on hookup a few days before to charge your battery, put your fridge on and put your shopping in the night before. It'll be all chilled. You'll be able to drive on this until you arrive on your site and hook the van up, or you go wild camping and you switch on to gas. Note that on the automatic energy selection, it will not light on gas for 20 minutes once the engine has been turned off. This is a safety feature in case you forgot to isolate your bottle, because you don't want to be lighting up on gas in a petrol station. So that's why it will wait 20 minutes. However, you can override this feature. Take it off A, press the square button and choose the source you want, which is manual selection. A just does it all for you. Temperature gauge here, 5 being the coldest, so have it on 5 when pre-chilling. Once you put your shopping in, turn it down to 3, because sometimes 4 and 5 can be too strong and form ice in the fridge, so you might just want to turn it down. And then at the very end, you've got this square button here, which just stops the condensing this screen up. So there's a little heater inside the door which stops this from condensing because it's between the fridge and freezer box. When not using though, turn it off. Open the doors. There's little lugs underneath both. Clean the fridge out, and then what you want to do is you want to put these into the hinge on the door there, and that will stop the door from locking on itself and allow air to circulate in and out of the fridge freezer to stop smells from forming. Because if you did shut the door, it's got an airtight seal on there, it'll trap the air in and you'll start to get a funny smell in your van within a couple of weeks. Above the fridge freezer on this model, you do have a Russell Hobbs 800 watt microwave. So again, this will only work when you connect it to mains hookup. You've got a full 800 watt microwave. To the right of the fridge freezer, you do have a freestanding table which lives in this cupboard here. So it slides out. You can set it up at the front or take it outside should it be a nice day. In the kitchen, you do have one 230 volt hot plate which operates with this switch here, and that will only work when you are hooked up, but make sure you haven't knocked that when loading the van and you hook the van up and you're unaware. So do just make sure that's off, because the slightest of heat will smash the glass and you don't want that. And then you do have 3 other gas burners. So again, once you've had these on, allow it to cool before you put the glass lid down, otherwise it may shatter when the burners are light. Underneath you've got one grill pan here. And a grill. Light for your oven is just here, so your oven light. And then underneath you do have your oven. So just hold it in, allow the thermocouple to get warm if it's cold, and you'll be able to release and your oven will stay lit. Should you need any parts for the oven, grill or hob though, there is a sticker inside the oven door which has a model number on. Any motorhome or caravan dealer that's able to get your parts from Thetford will need this number to contact Thetford and get the right parts for your oven, grill and hob. Pressing here, you've got some storage underneath. You've got the plug for the electric hot plate this side if you ever need to isolate it, and you do have 4 gas isolation valves. So any problems with gas, you can turn the appliance you think that's leaking off here. But what I would recommend is turning the source of gas off as you are isolating the bottle, and no gas can get into the van. But if you were wild camping, to stop ruining your holiday when you're away, if you thought it was a hob that was leaking, you can isolate the oven. Storage, cups and plate rack storage there. Kitchen lights, two 230-volt sockets, some storage in here, storage with a slide out cutlery tray underneath the sink, slide out condiment rack, when the pump's on you'll be able to get a pressurized flow of water. So this is your water and that's coming through hot there now. As you can see, the steam coming off the water, so that means that your Aldi boiler system is working as the hot water is reaching temperature. In the cupboard just above your kitchen cabinets, further along in your lounge, you've got a max view TV booster. So the aerial on this vehicle is a 12-volt aerial, but it's fixed, so you can't move the aerial around. The only adjustment you have is the booster. So you've got an amplifier built in here where you can either boost the signal or bring it down should it be too strong. So you can adjust it there to try and pick up the best TV channels where you are, depending on your location. In the next cupboard, which is your cupboard above your lounge behind the driver's seat, you've got your EC700 unit. So this is your Sargent power supply unit. So should you be standing the vehicle up for any length of time and you're not wanting a power drain, you can turn the system shutdown button off here, which will isolate your 12-volt leisure battery. Underneath you'll find all your 12-volt fuses for your 12-volt appliances, which are all listed here. So it would be a good idea if you got a assortment pack of standard blade fuses from the likes of eBay, Amazon or your local car factors, and carry them with you in the motorhome just in case you do blow a fuse, you can replenish a fuse. Your charger and your heating and hot water system, you can turn these off but leave them on. They will light up when the vehicle is hooked up. The charger is charging the leisure battery off mains voltage. You can swap that over in the settings of to where it says active battery to vehicle battery, and it will charge your vehicle battery if it's storing. So if you're storing it and you're worried about a flat battery, you can change it over every couple of days so both batteries are getting a charge, and that's done in the settings with the active battery. Heating and hot water is here, and this is just the 230-volt element to that side. So if you were keeping it on hookup on the driveway over the winter but you didn't want the heating to be accidentally knocked on, you can just turn it off here and that will just stop that so that you don't burn the element out. Underneath so you've got your RCD, which is your main trip tester. So try here if you're not getting power. If you trip the vehicle out, you've got power. If your vehicle doesn't trip, you're not receiving power. That's one way of eliminating if it's the motorhome at fault. And then you've got your MCBs for your various appliances. You've also got, every auto trail built has a unique build number in this cupboard. If you need any parts, quote your auto trail dealer this number for warranty claims of parts in the future, and they'll get the right part for your vehicle listed on the auto trail system. So in the back of the van, you've got your toilet to one side, which this is the toilet door but also acts as the bedroom door, so you can push that shut. So going into the toilet, the light switch is here for the washroom. To operate the toilet, you want to press the blue button, which is your fresh water flush. Start making sure the pump's on, you'll get some fresh water in your toilet. Give it a flush, put a small amount of water in first, which helps lubricate the seal between the blade and the cassette. And then before you use the toilet, you want to open this grey lever on the pedestal of the toilet. So push that away from you. Everything now goes into the cassette. You can use the toilet. Once you've used it, give it a good flush. If you've bought the twin pack of chemical where you buy the blue to go in the cassette, which you can put in from outside with the cap of the cassette toilet, the pink has nowhere to go on this motorhome because it's a freshwater fed flush system. However, what you can do is you can put some pink in a bottle, an empty spray bottle, dilute the rest with water, spray the bowl flush, and it will clean the bowl and give a neutralizing spray in the washroom. So you can use it that way. You just can't put it into a tank or anything on this van, as it's all one freshwater tank. Once the toilet indicates it's full, so close it after use. This needs to be closed before you open and take the cassette out the side of the van, otherwise it won't come out. And then once it indicates it's full, you'll get 3 or 4 green lights underneath the little picture of the cassette here to say that the cassette is full. And then making sure the blade's closed, like I've just said, you'll be able to pull it outside the van, empty it, rinse it and replenish it with chemical. Toiletry space, more toiletry space, heated towel rail, toilet roll holder, towel holder, hook for your towels, your dressing gowns and things. And then this side you do have your shower. So magnetic shower screens, make sure they are shut when you travel. They'll stop them banging around because they'll be stuck together. Bottle holder, towel rail holder here. Also doubles up as extra storage space if you're going on a longer trip. A couple of hangers on there. It works as another wardrobe if you're not going to use your shower on board, because some sites are now like 5-star hotels and have lovely shower blocks. And when you are winterizing, you want to leave all the taps open, but you also want to unscrew the shower head from the hose. Lie the hose in the shower tray and any water will drain out there, because if it's put like this, any water is going to sit in this pipe and potentially freeze. So just take that head off the hose, pull the hose out the tidy there and put it down into the tray just so that it drains off. And please be careful with what you clean this out with, because it is only plastic, so don't use any bleaches or harsh scourers or chemicals on the plastic tray or surround, as you will damage it. So just light microfiber cloth and some Dettol spray or some Fairy Up liquid, washing up liquid. Nothing, no bleaches, no Sif or anything like that, because you will damage the shower screen and surround. At the back of this model, with it being the Delaware, you do have a island bed with wardrobes either side, storage on the top and storage drawers on the bottom of the bed. You've got 2 on the side, this side, and 2 this side. So you've got loads of storage with the one underneath, well, 2 on both bedside tables as well as a mains plug that side, bedroom lights and individual reading lights on both sides of the bed. So you can put them on and turn them off individually. Just in here, before we go any further, because this motorhome is fitted with the Aldi wet central heating system, this is your expansion tank, so your header tank. The liquid in here needs to be changed every 5 years, as it has a 5-year lifespan, and it's G13 coolant, which you can buy from Aldi themselves, or you can go on Aldi's website and they'll recommend some other manufacturers that they warrant to go in their system. So if you ever need to top it up, just look on the website. G13, as long as it falls into one of them that they recommend, you can put it inside your header tank. However, always run the system up first, because as it expands, like the coolant tank on the vehicle, it expands, it pressurizes, the liquid capacity gets more. So don't top it up when it's cold. Always run the system up first, because it will show closer to max than it does when it's completely cold. And when it's hot, if it's still showing below, let it cool down and then you can top it up that little bit more. But like I say, the fluid needs to be changed every 5 years. If you need to top it up, you've got a little cap there and a breather hole. But to change it, it'll need to be a job that needs to be carried out by a motorhome or caravan dealer, because it needs completely drained throughout all the lines and radiators of this vehicle and topped back up. So to operate your motorhome Wi-Fi compact ultra router, you get a little router here which comes with the vehicle and the kit if you haven't it added to the van. And in here If you take the back off, you'll be able to see the Wi-Fi device name and the Wi-Fi key. So the Wi-Fi key you might want to just make note of, because that's what you need to punch into your device. And you can connect 10 devices to these routers. So put your battery in, but put your SIM card in. You will need a data-only SIM card. So it'll come with a sample SIM from Smarty. However, I've rang Motorhome Wi-Fi before when we had a problem here, and what they said was Smarty SIM is a carrier that's piggybacked from 3, and 3 doesn't have that good of a signal and broadcasting signal around the UK. So you're best off sticking to the bigger providers such as Vodafone or EE, and all you need is a data-only SIM card. Pop it in there, pop the battery in. You'll then be able to put it onto the dock, and I'll show you how to put on the dock. And the dock will be in a cupboard wherever it's been fitted on your vehicle. Sometimes it's a wardrobe, sometimes it could be a kitchen cabinet or above the fridge. So this is now fitted to the dock. So the dock has a switch underneath which you need to turn on, and it has 2 cables which need to be attached to the router. So these are aerial cables, and there's a mast on the roof of the van which is going to allow the aerial to pick up a better band of signal. So it's 10 times stronger than your phone built-in aerial. So as the mast is on the roof, it will get a better range of signal. So that's why you would connect these, and then you need to connect the power cable. Turn it on at the top, press and hold, and you'll be able to bring it on. There you are. It'll go through its cycle. And once you're in the home screen, it'll tell you how many devices are connected at any one time and what signal it's currently bringing in. But making sure that you input the password on the back to all your devices, and like I say, 10 devices at a time. So you need to find so you've got 2 buttons on the top. This is just in the menu. We've got various settings on here. So it says insert a SIM because there's no SIM in the van at the moment, in the router, and it's saying that there's 00 used because there's nothing there. This side it would tell you how much signal you're getting, how many devices are connected, and the battery status of the router. You can take it off and it can be portable because it does have an inbuilt receiver. However, the whole point of having motorhome Wi-Fi is that you've got an aerial on the roof and it'll extend the scope of picking up a signal. Behind both passenger and driver seat, you do have a 12-volt assisted fan from the Aldi system. So the Aldi system is a radiator system which convects heat through radiators. However, you do have the option of putting a switch on which blows the heat into the cab. So the cab's always the coldest place on the motorhome because it's insulated as the walls, sides and floor and roof of the van, because it's the firewall of the engine. But what you can do is, there's a switch here and you've got 2 settings. So you've got the up position, which is the fan on max speed. We've got the down position, which is it a little bit quieter. So you've got 2 positions on the switch, off is in the middle. And it just blows the warm air out the vents behind both passenger and driver seat to eliminate the cold air coming from the cab. So you can turn these on if you wish, or you can just let the heat convect out the radiators behind the furniture.